have not done a review where I'm just standing up and talking in the longest time. I think the last time I did a review where I'm just standing up and having to talk about a movie was fucking Pacific Rim. And it's not on my YouTube page anymore. It's back when I did Blip and all that shit. But I have to stand up and talk about this because it's the excitement and all that shit. So like I said, this is the spoiler movie review for Get Out. And oh my fucking god. Like, Paul sent me the fucking, trailer to this, like, whenever the fucking trailer came out, which is probably before, like, Comic-Con or something like that, New York Comic-Con, and I was like, oh, like, it was, like, some, like, Jordan Peele's movie, and I was like, okay, like, I'm thinking it's, like, another Keanu, like, that kind of funny movie, and then fucking, I was like, oh, this is getting serious, and I'm like, alright, maybe this is, like, Lost Skit kind of shit, for Key and Peele that, like never seen before kind of stuff. And then it ends and it has like a date and I was like, wait, is this like Keanu where it would look like a fake trailer but it ended up being a real movie? Go to IMDb. Holy shit, this is a real movie. And then I'm just like, oh my god. And then like more and more news of this came out, and then this movie just came out, like, it's fucking Sunday, that we saw this, and this movie came out, what, like, Friday or some shit, and already it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fucking ridiculous, and then the fact that, because, well, not, like, because of that, so, like, a shit ton of people are going to see it, we saw it in a pretty crowded-ass fucking theater, and normally I'm just like, oh, fuck, it's crowded, and I'm like, what is this, a fucking Marvel movie, like, why are there so many goddamn people? But this was great because you needed that, like, that audience experience too, because everyone was in this movie, they were with it, they obviously understood, like, the subject matter of all this. It was fucking insane, like, obviously if you don't know, like, this is full of spoilers, but, the premise of the movie is that, this black kid is dating a white girl, goes to, like, her family's place for the weekend. Things are weird because their parents have black servants, and it's like, kind of weird stuff. There's a party being thrown. He meets, like, the only black guy, like, the other black guy that's there. He doesn't know how to do a fist bump. He, like, paper covers rock kind of shit. And it was like, that's weird. Anyway, so, like, lots of, like, you see in the trailer, like, the car stops because, like, they hit a deer on the road, all this shit. Like, the cop is like, oh, let me see your license, and the girl's like, well, he wasn't even driving. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter, and it's that whole, like, us who've experienced things like that are like, and he even does that in the movie. He's just like, she'll be like, I can't believe it, like, why would, like, the cop do that? That's really, really bad. It's like, my parents are like that, because then, like, when her parents meet him, it's like, my man, like, the dad's like, my man, then he's trying to be, like, hip with the kids, and saying things like, how long has this thing been going on? Thing, because, it's fucking 1997, and, yeah, so it's, like, all this weird stuff, and the mom's just like, I'm suburban mom, 40-year-old virgin, which, she does a fucking good job, because I fucking hate her in this movie, because she was pretty cool in 40-Year-Old Virgin, but this one, I'm like, I fuck you, bitch, So, like, anyway, so things are weird, obviously, you notice that, like, the I guess the maid, or whatever, housekeeper inside the house, the black woman, she's a bit kind of off, and so is the groundskeeper guy, the black guy, who takes care of outside the house. There's not, like, it doesn't make sense, because it's, like, they're very, like, robotic, and, like, not to be a douche, but I kind of, like, predicted the movie, per se, like, and it was still fucking good, like, you could kind of tell, you're like, oh, is this, like, some kind of fucking, like, Stepford thing, like, Stepford black people, instead of, like, Stepford wives, Stepford black people, and you're like, what the hell is going on, and it pretty much, like, is, because, like, the groundskeeper and the housekeeper people, like, they're very robotic, and, and then times, like, some, like, things get kind of triggered or whatever, and they're like, glitch, and then they start, like, kind of crying, but they're like, happy smiles, okay, you'll have a good day, and you're like, what the fuck? The groundskeeper even had, like, this weird smile. He's like, I'll just get back to minding my own business, and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right, and I was just like, oh my god. So like the party happens, you know, you meet all like more of these weird like crazy white people, and they're saying things like, oh, you know, black is in. You know, they were like saying something like fair skin, that's nice, but black is the new thing, and you're like, ah, it's like very cringy kind of, you know, like conversations. You're like, oh my god, I don't feel good, you know, and then oh my god, like some other stuff, and then also like they lumped in like a random like Japanese person. I'm like, don't bring Asians into this. Although, you know, there are pretty racist Asian people out there, so I'm just like, I was like, ah, why you gotta lump me in there? Well, I'm not Japanese, but you know, like, why you gotta lump like Asians in there? And then like this one lady was like all squeezing on his arms, and she was like, ooh, like that kind of stuff. Like, oh no, that was the people that were saying like, oh, you know, like you're built and blah blah blah. And then like the girl's brother was being weird. He was like, oh, you know, your size, you know, if you kept, was it the brother? I don't know, people were just saying weird shit. Was telling the guy like, yeah, if you kept working at it and working at it, you know, your body build would be like perfect for this and that. And it's like, motherfuckers, y'all sound creepy as fuck, you know, like this doesn't feel right. Like he was saying all this shit, you know. Oh my god, yeah, when the lady was like squeezing the dude's arm, I had flashbacks to like, you know, Comic-Con when that lady was squeezing up on Paul's arm and telling him how like he smells good and how like his eyes were erotic. He had lenses in, but ma'am, calm it down. Like, Jesus Christ, you know? She was like, ooh, you're strong, ooh, yeah. You smell good too. And I was like, wow, this woman, just, Jesus Christ, you know? And then she was just like, oh, your boyfriend. I'm like, oh, no, he not my man. You can have him. You know? Oh my god, it was like insane. So of course that like didn't feel right. And so the boyfriend is like, you know, talking to his buddy, who is like a great character, who is literally, that is just, that's my friends and I. We are that character. We're just like, dude, I told you not to go fucking, you know, go to that fucking white girl's house in the middle of fucking nowhere kind of shit, you know? Like, and then he's like, you know, dog sitting and like slash apartment sitting, all that stuff. And so he'll like text a dude, call him up, and yada yada. And then like they're like, yeah, there's like this dude here, he's the only black guy, and he's a little weird, blah blah. And he tries to like, you know, sneak a picture of him, but like he left the flash on because like a lot of us who try to do that, like whoops. And it was just like, and it's like, oh my god, the great thing of it being written by Jordan Peele, obviously, and directed, is that like the comedic timing of like how he tells jokes and stuff were there. So like the way how like the boyfriend does it, like the comedic timing was amazing. This, so when he did that, he was just like perfect timing with that shit. And oh my god. But like the Flash like triggered that, you know, the paper covers rock black guy, and he was just like and then he's like a little bit of blood comes out, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, and he like grabs a guy, and that's, you see in the trailer, he's like, get out. It was like, what the fuck, you know? Anyway, yeah, like that was fucking crazy. And then like, you know, all the crazy stuff, like when the boyfriend was like, oh, I'm gonna go sneak a smoke outside, and then the groundskeeper comes running at you like fucking T-1000 shit, like that was fucking insane. And then takes a quick dip like that, like what? Paul was like, I would have been out first moment. And the best thing about this movie is that like we loved it, obviously, like we love this movie, but Paul was so fucking shook by this movie that he was like insane. Like I had to get like some headache medicine like from like the CVS down the block, you know, and while I'm like looking for headache medicine, he fucking disappears. I'm like, where the fuck did his ass go? But I can still hear him in the store, you know, so he's just like, I'm hearing him, but it's like his voice is trailing, like, oh, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look down at the end of the aisle, and like he like dips his head in like the aisle, like, you know, he's like, right, Joe, you know, I won't be stupid like that. And then he like disappears, and he'll come back around in like another part, like an aisle. He's like, right, yeah. He's like a, the way how he was like pacing around and like talking, he sounded like a disappointed father. Like, what? You went and got married with it? Like, you went and got married and didn't tell us about it? Well, you know, I can't, you know, just like pace. My room is not big enough to be pacing like that. But he's just like walking back and forth, like, you know, I thought I taught my daughter better than to do that. You know, I thought, you know, it was just like that. He's like, ain't gonna catch me, you know, fucking being stupid like that. Like, yo, I would have left. I'd have been like, bitch, I'm out. And like, just like, he was like freaking out like through the rest of the night was just him, just like grumbling, mumbling to himself about, you know, the situation, about the T-1000 running and shit. And so these fucking people are like fucking Terminators, because when, like, at the end of the movie, when the kid was like, you know, killing them off one at a time, like, some of them like pop back on the like life. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, the, oh my god, like, when he was at his last straw and he was like, all right, I'm gonna leave, but he like looked at that little door and everyone's like, nah, man, just leave, just leave. But then like he looks in and it's like this little box, and in the box is like all these pictures of the girl with all these other random black dudes, and you're like, oh my god. We're like, oh my god. What did Paul say? Like, she's, well, I know he called her Agent Orange, but she also, like, what the fuck else did he say? Like, she, whatever, like, pretty much saying, like, she's, like, the, you know, the setup person, you know? And then you see it, and then, like, the last two pictures, one is, like, the groundskeeper guy, and then the one behind it is the housekeeping lady, and you're like, dude! Like, the crowd was like, what? You know? It was fucking insane. And then, you know, like, obviously, the girl was like, I can't find my keys, like, in the back, I can't find my keys, Then she's like, she, like, pulls it out immediately, she's like, yeah, I can't give you these keys, and it's, like, the family, all that shit, and, like, you know, he gets fucking, because he's been, what do you call that? That whole fucking hypnotism thing was so fucking insane. And then, like, he gets downstairs and they're you know, doing the whole kind of Bond villain thing, like, telling you the plan. Like, Stephen Root is like, well, you know, what we do is that, like, we just kidnap these black people and replace our brains with theirs so we can live longer. And yippee-ki-yay, the black race. And it was like, what? What? And it's all like this really like, holy fuck, what the fuck, who the fuck kind of, you know, scenario, obviously. And it's just so insane, but like, you know, like I said in the no spoiler video, which was like 2 seconds long, you know, where I said, like, I didn't know I needed this movie in my life, and now that I've seen it, I realize I needed this movie in my life, which is like, funny enough, just like after I saw Pacific Rim, I was like, man, I didn't realize I needed this movie in my life, but now I really realize, fucking hell, like I said, like, I had a feeling this movie would be, yeah, I had a feeling this movie would be this, but instead of it being like, oh, I knew it was gonna be like that, yeah, whatever. But it was like, oh my god, is this? Oh my god, it fucking is this! Holy shit, it really is this kind of movie! The fact that, like, he, like, killed every family member because they fucking deserved it, you know, like, ramming the fucking horns in the dad, bashing the brother over the head with the fucking shit, and he wasn't dead, and then still having, like, to fucking, like, kill him, and then, oh my god, the mom with the fucking teacup shit, like, when he, like, you know, swiped that thing out, because I was like, you better keep that fucking cotton in your ear, bitch, you know, so, like, fucking hell, like, she won't try to, like, get control of you, and you just, like, boom, you know, fucking death drop and shit, and then the girl, like, shoots her, bam, right in the stomach, she goes down, but she's still like, I'm back up, like, what the fuck kind of crazy, you know, like, Terminator white people syndrome, was it, serum do you have, you know, to stay alive, like, what the fuck, it was so fucking insane. And then, like, and then in the end, you, like, you know, it's like he's like to the girl, and the poor, you know, housekeeper, groundskeeper people, you know, having that, like, to off themselves, which I totally understand, you know, because fuck it, if you're stuck in a state of, and technically, you know, being paralyzed and you can't control your own body, but someone else is controlling it for you, and you're just witnessing things happening, yeah, like, you know, fucking hell. So, like, yeah, I really thought at the end that, like, when you saw, like, the fucking, police lights and stuff, like, I really thought it was a cop from the beginning, because I'm like, there's, like, a house on fire, all these bodies, and you're covered in blood, and you are the only black person in, like, forever. Like, oh my god, this kid is dead. He is fucking dead. Oh my god, he got so far, and yet, blah, blah, blah. And then you see, like, the police car door, and it says airport on it, and you're like, the whole crowd, like, cheered. Paul was so happy. He kicked the dude's seat in front of us. The dude, like, whipped around really quickly. And Paul's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, I'm sorry, my friend is really excitable when it comes to things like this. But, like, oh my god, like, Jesus. Oh, what's her name who plays? Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god, I completely forgot her character in a Living Single. But, she was there. I haven't seen her in forever. As, like, I guess, another TSA or whatever, police person or whatever. But yeah, like, oh my god. Maxine, that's her character name in fucking Yeah, so that was fucking insane. Like, God, his friend got him, and I remember it was funny. Like, I said to Paul, I'm like, you better watch out. Like, date like a fucking white girl or something. I was like, man, I'm gonna be like, I was like, I gotta be your Liam Neeson and come find you. But of course, that sparked him being like, what? No, I wouldn't let that happen. You know, the moment that motherfucker come running at me like a fucking T-1000, I would have been out, son. And I have not heard him say the N-word that many times in my life. You know, he's not one to say that often. But this movie, he got really, really, really excited about it. So he was just like, woo, N-words here and there. And I'm like, you're using words? I'm not going to use that word. I don't use that word. No, no. You know, very excitable, as I said. You know, and just, oh my god, it was so fucking crazy. Like, it's like the moment, the moment the movie ended, I like turned to him and I was like, "And this is why it has 100% on fucking Rotten Tomatoes." You know, like Jesus, tap dancing Christ, this was fucking awesome. Like, I hope it really gets like at least some sort of like award nods in very much in like the storytelling part, like the writer part, direction. You know, it wasn't anything crazy like special, like oh my god, this amazing cinematography kind of stuff, But like, damn, and the acting, like everyone did a really fucking good job because they were definitely convincing, Oh my fucking Christ, like Get Out, that not to make a stupid, like title joke thing out of it, but yeah, get out and go see it, because fucking hell, that was good. Like, damn. And I feel like I said, I didn't realize I needed this movie, like a movie like this, and I did, and especially, like, in this type of social climate, it's like, fuck, it's like it came out around like timing wise, it's kind of how like a year or so ago when I was talking about how like with Straight Outta Compton or Dope, I was like, these movies came out and it's social commentary and all that stuff, and it just, oh my god, oh my god, this movie. But yeah, Get Out, fucking good ass movie, and I'm gonna finally sit down. I'm tired. All right.